That's a common phrase. That's a common phrase in mental health circles. And they talk about, I've worked in mental health for decades, and they talk, and frequently you'll hear people talking about going to a meeting where nothing happened, except everybody thanked everybody else. So everybody felt good by the time left. What are you doing, Bill? That's right. Everybody had to feel good before they went.
Hair moving.
Yeah.
That was a hard experience. I had never heard.
I'd like to call the August Poquoson City School Board meeting to order. And first order of business is pledge to the flag. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
We do not.
Thank you. Next up is recognitions. I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Parrish.
Thank you very much, and I am very excited to see, and I notice it is across the back row, all of our baseball players and coaches. Tonight we want to recognize our baseball team. We were unable to do so in June because it was so close to the end of the school year, so we do appreciate you all coming in August here. But we want to recognize our baseball team for being Conference 25 champions. They were also Region 3A East runner-up. And as we know, they played in the state final game on the morning, or rather the day before graduation. And so we graduated some of them across the home plate, and we're able to see the video, which I have to say I personally thought was absolutely wonderful. I think it was a highlight of graduation. So thank you for all of you for participating in that event. What I want to do tonight is call up the players and our coaches here today so we can recognize them for their achievements this past season. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Matt Berry, if you could come forward, please. And as you come up, please stay up here. Brett Bradshaw. Richie Canella. Travis Canella. Dylan Freeman. Trey Hicks. Bryce Hinton. Cole Jackson. Jesse Laufenberger. Not here. Keith Lawson. Kyle Lewis. Matt Titlow. Drew Watkins. Do we have, I'm going to read we may not have some of these, but I want to make sure that at least we announce these since we're on TV today. Jeremy Collins. Ryan Darnell. Off at college. Zach Dobar, the same. Stephen Holloway. Alex Lamb. Michael Nestor. Mike's here. I know. And Chase Pinder, I know, is not here this evening. Yeah. At this time, I'd also like to have us bring up our team manager, Ryan Patton. And our coaches, Kenny Bennett. I know some of our coaches aren't here this evening because we have football practice going on too, but Elliot Duty, Justin Hollingsworth, and I don't know if Craig Zimmerman is here. Yes. I want to once again, on behalf of the school board and the entire school division, say congratulations to you. You made not only everybody in our school system proud, but our entire Poquoson community as we followed you throughout the season. So congratulations on your accomplishments. I know some of you are off to school, to college, and I wish you the absolute best of luck. Some of you are headed to football practice, so we'll see you on the field in the coming weeks, and others will see you back on the baseball field in the spring. So again, please join me in congratulating our Poquoson High School baseball team. As well, thank you. Thank you so much, parents, too, for coming.
Well, he's supposed to. Are they leaving? Yeah, they're all leaving. He was.
Their lesson in civics is over.
Congratulations.
Real quick.
What's he doing? Good. All right, quite an accomplishment. A lot for the parents, the students, the coaches, and all the citizens of Poquoson to be proud of. Nice job, guys. And next up, presentations and reports. First is Mr. Bowen with financial update.
Good evening, Dr. Carter, school board members, and Dr. Parrish. For the finance report this evening, I want to update the board on the final state budget and also share with you the latest information and news we have about the economic outlook. First, let me begin with the budget, and I'll just draw your attention to Section 6 and Item F of the school board agenda. Tonight, we're asking the board to approve an amended FY15 operating budget. As you know, that the General Assembly and Governor finalized the budget for 2015-2016 in mid-June. At the time that this budget was completed, we didn't have all the details and information to present the impact to Poquoson City Schools at the June board meeting. So I want to take that opportunity to share this with you and then also share it with the community. In the final budget, there were a couple of actions that were taken that did slightly reduce our state funding. In particular, the rates for group life insurance and our retiree health care credit, which are benefits to our employees that we share costs with the state. Those rates were reduced, a combined 0.25%. The state share of that reduction was $7,063. The budget that I have before you this evening and on the dais reflects that reduction of $7,063 in state revenue and expenses. Also, as a result of the reduction in rates, PCPS realized a savings of about $30,000. What's not included in the budget and what we didn't ask the board to do is to reallocate the $30,000 at this time. And the reason for that is the recent news that we've received from the state regarding the economic outlook. As the General Assembly was finalizing the budget in June, we were hearing reports and we had received documents that the state was seeing significant reductions in state revenue. At the time that budget was finalized, the state recognized these reductions and they started to identify areas where they could shore up the shortfall. In doing so, they identified about $1.55 billion in reserves and the use of the rainy day fund to cover an estimated shortfall of $1.1 billion. So they did a lot of work before the budget was completed, and we thought that the shortfall was covered. Fast forward to last week, another revenue forecast was performed, and that shortfall has grown from $1.1 billion to now $2.4 billion for the biennium. This is for 2 years, for fiscal year 15 and fiscal year 16. The shortfall that's applicable to this fiscal year, that we've already begun, is $346 million. So the state's going to have to find these funds to cover the shortfall. What we've learned is that the shortfall is occurring across all revenue streams, general revenue fund streams, including sales tax. And in our budget for this year, we have little over $2.2 million in sales tax revenue. So as of this date, we haven't received any instructions how K-12 might be impacted. But we've been here before. We've seen this happen, and I feel confident that we're going to see some reductions this year. That being said, the $30,000 that we realized in savings as a reduction of those rates, we have set aside anticipating those reductions. So if reductions do come from the state, we have that $30,000 that we have set aside, and we'll use that as our first target to those reductions. And that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody have questions, comments there? Anything? I want to comment on the fact that that you're not asking to reallocate the $30,000, but we're looking to set it aside as a just in case, because we don't know what's coming. And this is reflective of the consistent fiscal responsibility of this administration. And I think I can speak for the board in saying that we really appreciate that fiscal responsibility, because it has really, really helped us over the last 5 or 6 years. And this is indicative of that way of thinking. And I appreciate that to all of you. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up, we'll have Mr. Pappas with the operations update.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, School Board, Dr. Parrish. The operations report is going to go over several areas. In the area of safety, you may recall that in 2013 we had new requirements added to the school safety audit process, and that was a function of House Bill 2346, and it amended and added to how we handle the school crisis and the emergency management plans. Well, as a function of that, PCPS is working towards ensuring that we meet all those requirements. Currently, principals are setting the dates for the various required drills for the entire school year. All schools have completed the school safety checklist that's required. We're working on and completing the annual school safety survey that each principal must do. And each principal is also reviewing enhancements that have been made to our crisis plan as we keep refining it each year. And they're going over all of those changes with their faculty here as we go through the start of the school year. Also, PCPS received radios as part of a grant. You may recall there was a grant for Virginia schools. We applied. As part of that, we received radios. We've implemented them in the schools already. And they give us a substantial boost in our communications response time. I'm very pleased with that. Tonight and tomorrow night, the Poquoson City Police are at Poquoson Primary School, where they're going through a drill, very similar to what they've done each year in our other schools. And this helps them become more familiar with our school in the event that that knowledge and the layout of that school should ever be required in the event of an emergency or crisis. In the area of food service, we have a new food service director, John Budek. He's been here for several weeks, working very diligently, working on menus, and also providing a bistro menu that will assist staff. In the area of transportation, our school bus routes are now online and available for this coming year, the year that starts here very shortly. And this Thursday, we are performing the first of our 2 required in-service trainings for the entire bus and transportation cohort. Custodial Services has been working all summer, and I'm very pleased with their efforts. I've inspected 3 of the 4 schools in their final completion, and I believe we're ready for teachers to return. A lot of nice compliments this year. In the area of maintenance, if you haven't happened to go by the elementary school and look out back, you might see the new outdoor classroom, which is coming to a closure as far as its construction. We received, PCPS did, as part of a grant when we built that new school and created wetlands. We received the funds to do that, and finally we are at a point where that's being constructed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments? Thank you very much, Mr. Pappas. And next up, Dr. Colley with an instructional update.
Good evening, Dr. Carter, members of the board, Dr. Parrish. Tonight, I'll begin my instructional update by sharing with you that we have completed another summer school session very successfully last month, with lots of elementary, middle, and high school students taking advantage of the learning opportunity. Of particular note this year was the increased enrollment in our economics and personal finance class. You'll remember that last summer was the first time we offered that, and we had a few students in, and then now that that's a graduation requirement, we're seeing more and more students take advantage of that opportunity during the summer. Of course, now we're in full swing for this school year. We welcomed our new teachers and new staff members back yesterday and again today during new teacher and new employee orientation. All of our teachers will be back tomorrow, and our schools have lots of great professional development and activities planned to start the year. We end this week with convocation on Friday at 10:30 at the high school, and I hope to see many of you there. And next week, our schools will hold open houses for families and for students, and before we know it, the next week is September 2nd, and we will be ready to start school and have a great school year. And as always, I just want to thank you as we start the year for all your continued support of our instructional programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Great.
Mr. Cass, could you take us through the consent agenda, please?
Yes, sir. The following items, A through F, are enclosed in each board member's packet. A, approval of minutes of July special organizational meeting. B, approval of minutes of June regular meeting, work session, and certification of closed meeting. C, approval of financial reports. D, approval of personnel action. E, authorization to dispose of surplus property. F, authorization to change appropriation to accept and expend funds in accordance with the attached request.
Thanks, sir. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote,
We have the
please?
discussion.
No
we
discussion
can.
on the consent agenda. Sorry, sir.
Okay, we do have a small change then.
If we need to pull an item, we can.
Yeah, we can.
You can.
It's just a couple words, they're very minor. It's a typo.
Which item should we pull?
If you want to pull the whole documents to June 17th, meeting notes.
So item B.
It's really quite simple.
Item B.
Item B?
We'll pull, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
B.
So hold on the consent, you pull B, and then you'll be
Right.
approving consent, items A, and then C through F.
Okay. So, do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A, C, D, E, and F?
So moved.
And the second?
Second.
And Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote on the consent agenda items A, C, D, E, and F?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hux?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker? Aye. Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cass?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye, thank you.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
I make a motion to move consent agenda item B, approval of minutes of June regular meeting, work session, and certification of closed meeting, to other matters for consideration. Can I get a second there?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Ms. McDowell, are we okay down there? I don't want to get ahead of you.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. If you'll call for a vote to move consent agenda item B to other matters for consideration.
Ms.
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cass?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. So, other matters for consideration. First up is item B from the consent agenda, approval of minutes of June regular meeting, work session, and certification of closed meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Melton, what was your discussion, sir?
Well, it seems very trivial. I didn't know it required to be moved to the other part of the agenda because.
No worries.
Chairman Carter, in your remarks at the end, you wished Mr. Wright a great requirement instead of a great retirement. I just wonder how much work this guy's going to do after he retires.
Great.
And what kind of great requirement were you expecting out of Mr. Wright? Spell check would not have caught that one. It's a very small typo. I'm sorry.
The huge requirement there was for him to go and have some fun and not work so much. That was the requirement.
Yes, sir. I agree. I agree. And the word is spelled right, so spell check will not
It is.
tell you that that is a possible word choice there.
All right, thank you.
Very small and minor.
Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cass?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Next up, item A, consideration of approval of first reading and move to second reading of change to policy manual section 2, article 4, facilities, with the reading file enclosed. Dr. Parrish, would you like to address that?
Yes, you've got the reading file enclosed here that walks through the changes that we've made to the policy. This really came as a result of the fact that as of July 1, we are now required by the state to ensure that anybody using our school facilities is using the appropriate concussion procedures. They need to either use our procedures or they need to use the procedures that the Virginia Department of Education have outlined. So as a result of that, we made changes to our facility request form. We work with city staff because oftentimes we do have Parks and Recs activities that are on our field. So they already had procedures in place, but to ensure that they are using those procedures, and then anybody else who may ask to use our facilities now has to sign that they are using those concussion procedures. But that also led to us to take a look at policy as well as the superintendent's regulation attached to that. So as a result, we brought forward to you the policy change in first reading with hopes that you would move it to second reading so that you would then vote on the policy change in September. But do know that the facility request form is separate from policy, so we've already begun using that. So know that any group outside of the school division that is using our facility for athletic events are attesting that they have a concussion policy in place. And clearly, our school division has already been doing that for years now. So that was not a change for our school division.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve item A
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Any questions there? Comments? Thank you. Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cass?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next up, item B, the second item B, consideration of approval of second reading of changed policy manual resulting from actions of the General Assembly. The first reading was at the June meeting, and there's reading file enclosed. Again, Dr. Parrish.
Yes, we brought these changes to you at the June meeting and walked through them. There are a number of changes as we have each year. Your school board attorney does provide us with the changes that need to be made to your policy to make sure we align with the new Virginia code that's as a result of the work the General Assembly does in the spring. So we're recommending this evening that you approve those changes to your policy manual so they'll be in place as we start school on September 2nd.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve item B?
So moved.
And the second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions there on that item? All right. Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cass?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Item C, consideration of approval of textbook Advanced Placement Edition of Biology in Focus 2014 first edition for use at Poquoson High School with the reading file enclosed. Well, go ahead, Dr. Parrish.
I
You wanna
just want to
address that?
add to this, we did go through our normal textbook adoption procedures, which includes having the books available for public input. I did want to mention, because when we adopted some textbooks back in June, we did get the question. This textbook does have an online textbook as well as a hardcover textbook. We get both of those items with the purchase, so if our students don't want to take textbooks home and want to access them at home online, they will be able to do so with this textbook. Some textbooks are now coming with that. Others, you're purchasing one or the other. The purchase price is the same for online as it is for hardcover when they're doing them as separate purchases, but it will be nice for these students to have the option to use either.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the adoption of the textbook, item C?
So moved.
And the second?
Second.
Any questions there? And the AP biology teachers at the high school, they were able to pour over all the books. How did we determine which books would be sent to us? Was that something that they?
Some of this comes from our AP teachers go to college board training, and they're actually then showed some different textbooks that work well for the courses. So they're in some cases actually initiating, bringing forward, this is a book we'd be interested in teaching, but we have to then move it through a full adoption process, and that's what occurs here with this book.
Now, I know the AP US history test was changed significantly this year. Do you know if the AP biology test was changed significantly as well?
No, to our knowledge, it was not.
Okay.
And we are looking at, our AP history teacher has brought forward to us a book that she might be interested in seeing us purchasing too, so you may see that in the future, but it needs to move through the actual
Right.
textbook adoption procedures before that could occur.
Okay, thank you. Everybody okay with that one? Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cast?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next up, consideration of approval of textbook Pearson's Drive Right 2010 11th edition for use at Poquoson High School with the reading file enclosed. Same type issue?
Yeah, same thing. This one does not have an actual online textbook, but has online resources that the students, which are referenced in the reading file, will be able to access. So,
Do I have a motion to approve item D?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions there? All right, Ms. McDowell, you're up again.
Ms. Rollins?
Aye.
Mr. Hucks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cast?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next up, item E, consideration of approval of mileage reimbursement rate for PCPS employees who use personal vehicles for official business with a reading file enclosed.
yes, we're bringing forward to you this evening a recommendation that we raise the mileage reimbursement to match that of what the IRS mileage reimbursement is. It currently, for us, is 40 cents per mile. It would move it to 56 cents per mile. Know that we are fortunate in that we have a number of cars available for people to use. They're school division cars, but we actually also can access the city cars as well. So if our school division cars are already being utilized, they can use a city car. So we're only paying reimbursement for personal mileage when we don't have a car available to a teacher or other staff members going to a conference or going to a meeting. You don't see many mileage requests, but there are times when we may have multiple people out of the division and then we're having to have somebody drive their personal car. We thought it was important that we do reimburse them at the rate that the IRS is currently recommending in reimbursing people. So we're bringing forward that recommendation to you this evening.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve item E?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions on that one?
I do, actually.
Okay.
Was wondering if, it says that they must use a school or city pool vehicle if one is available. Are they locked into that? I mean, if they just prefer to use their personal car and not seek reimbursement, can they do that? Or is there a liability issue we're talking about here?
No, not a liability issue, but I haven't seen anybody that said, well, I don't, rarely would we see somebody who says, well, I don't want the reimbursement, I'll drive my own car. Our point is just, it is less expensive for us to have them driving the pool car, so we're saying if one's available, you need to use that. If they said, oh, I'll drive my own car and not get mileage, they would be allowed that option, but we haven't seen that happen. Usually people just take the pool car, and it's just sometimes it just isn't available, so.
Okay.
Now, if we're transporting students, we're using school division vehicles in that case, so.
Okay.
We don't have that extensive travel. We don't have that much extensive travel, in part because with the budget cuts, we're not attending that many conferences, and there's not that many meetings. We do see people have to go to state meetings, maybe Richmond, Charlottesville, Norfolk, but do know we're not talking about extensive traveling on behalf of our school division folks, but we do have people that do go to meetings and some conferences.
I was just wondering if it had been considered that maybe there'd be a reduced rate for people who voluntarily use their own vehicles. I know in certain situations, you can't use a city car for personal items. So if you have to leave a conference for an emergency, what do you do then?
Well, if they had a family emergency, need to get to a hospital or something, they could drive that car directly there, and we'd work with them then to make the change.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Very
we
good.
certainly wouldn't tell them they couldn't do that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Cass.
Does the city have a policy for reimbursement?
I'm sure they do. I'll let Bill come to the mic. He may know what it is.
I don't know the specific policy of the city, but that would be a common policy for the city to have. I don't know what their reimbursement rate is. Our reimbursement rate has not been addressed since mid-2000s, and it just came to our attention that we had overlooked this and thought it was appropriate to bring this up to the current reimbursement rate.
I don't know how the board feels, but I think ours should parallel the city's, given their extreme generosity and what they've helped us with and accomplish, and they're great partners. So I'm not sure, we should approve this until we know what that is, or maybe everybody else doesn't agree with that. So.
I think the 56 cents per mile is pretty close to the government per diem when you travel, use your own vehicle.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, it was right around that rate. So
I believe you have the prerogative of choosing your own. It can be less. I believe as a government you can choose 10 cents or 20 cents. But I'll go along with the group. I don't want it for us to seem like we're reimbursing more than this city employees maybe get reimbursed. But I will defer to the group.
Dr. Carter.
thank you, Mr. Bowen. What do you guys want to do?
Does this
I mean,
have
do
to be
you-
approved now to go into
No,
effect?
you could move, this item could be moved to next month, and in the meantime, we could find out what the city mileage reimbursement is. It doesn't, then we'll just continue to pay the 40 cents until you obviously vote to approve it, but there's not anything pressing. Like I said, we don't have that many people, because we do use the
Right.
cars as much as possible. We don't,
Right.
not sending hundreds of people out in their own cars, reimbursing them, so.
If we could table this to the next meeting and then just get an answer from the city, that would be great, I think.
Do y'all feel comfortable doing that? Board?
The motions
Yeah.
have to be withdrawn.
Okay.
So you need to withdraw
Yeah.
the motions.
So we'll withdraw the motion to approve item E. And I make a motion that we,
Make a motion first to withdraw.
I'm sorry,
then
make a
vote,
motion
then they'll vote
to
table
withdraw
it.
item E. And do I have a second?
Second.
And Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins,
Aye.
Mr. Hucks,
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker,
Aye.
Ms. Sidner,
Aye.
Mr. Melton,
Aye.
Mr. Cast,
Aye.
Chairman Carter.
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
And I make a motion to move item E, consideration approval of mileage reimbursement rate, to the September meeting agenda. Do I have a second?
Second?
And Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote, please?
Ms. Rollins? Aye. Mr. Hux?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cast?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. And lastly, thank goodness, is consideration of approval to amend the fiscal year 15 operating budget, reading file and closed. Take it away, Dr. Parrish.
Yeah, I don't really need to say much here because Mr. Bone did a nice job of outlining the changes that we're requesting and why we are holding the $30,000 until we see what cuts we will receive in funding from the state, which we obviously are anticipating will happen this year and as we move into fiscal year 16.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve item F?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Any discussion there? You want to move that somewhere, Mr. Cast?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No, but I
Ms.
would like
McDowell,
to,
could you please call for a vote?
I would like to thank Bill Bowen for working hard on the budgets and all the changes, and he's been probably a summer sweating over it, so thank you, Bill.
Sorry, Mr. Melton, I didn't mean to jump over
It's
you.
okay.
Anybody else, comments, questions? Thank you. Now, Ms. McDowell, could you call for a vote?
Ms. Rollins? Aye. Mr. Hux?
Aye.
Ms. Whitaker?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner? Aye. Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Mr. Cast?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment tonight?
No, sir, we do not.
It's probably a good thing. All right. Okay, next up, communications. Dr. Parrish, could you kick us off, please?
Thank you. I just wanted to say how exciting it has been. As Dr. Colley mentioned, we saw our new teachers and other employees yesterday, and I was all happy to see them all come back today for the second day of orientation, so I figured that was good news. But they're excited to be here. We're excited to have them. They attended the Kiwanis breakfast this morning, and we're all given $50 gift certificates by the Kiwanis for Office Max to help pick up stuff for their classroom. So just yet another shining example of how wonderful this community is in terms of supporting our schools. Mentioning that, as Mr. Pappas mentioned, the drill that our police department is doing in our school tonight and tomorrow, again, just another example of how closely we work with our public safety officials to ensure the safety of our students. So I again appreciate the support of the police department while they are not watching us on TV because they're getting ready to drill. Hopefully they'll hear that message. I don't think there's been a year, and there's probably not been a meeting where I haven't said something about budget, and it's usually not good. So, I just want to sort of further state from what Mr. Bowen said that we are closely listening to what the news we're getting out of Richmond, and we'll certainly keep you updated as we move through the coming weeks to determine what impact it will have on this current budget. I do want to reassure you and the community that because back in May and June we started to hear that there was an expectation the revenue reforecast would not be good. So we've done all we can to plan for the possibility of cuts during the school year. The $30,000 is an example of that. So while it will not be good for us to have to do that, I don't want folks out there overly concerned about it. We certainly will not be cutting jobs in the middle of the school year due to cuts unless the bottom falls out of the economy. But based on the information we have now, we should be able to manage it. I suspect we'll get a lot more information about fiscal year 16 when the current governor puts his budget out in December. So we anticipate it may be another challenging budget year as we move into next year as well, based on the current forecast for the Virginia economy. And finally, I just want to say, while we're here and on camera, I hope everybody has a terrific first day of school on September 2nd, if you don't have it on your calendar. My advice to the community is we will be running our buses that day. So you're probably have been able to get to work a little more quickly all summer, and we may slow you down a little bit. And I say to parents and students, be patient as we work out the first day bus runs. And hopefully you'll be able to get your children out there a little bit early just to make sure we get everybody on time that day. And I want to thank our principals are here in the audience, as well as school board office staff and everybody in the schools who are doing so much work to make sure September 2nd is a great first day for us. So I am confident that it will be, and it will be great to be out in the schools and see the kids back. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. And our new student representative to the board, Sophie, you're up next.
Hi everyone, I'm very excited to be here, and today I just have dates for all the open houses at the schools. So on August 26th, we'll have the middle school, the 6th grade will be from 4 to 5:30 p.m. The 7th and 8th grade will be from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then the next day, on August 27th, we'll have the primary school. The preschool will be from 10 to 10:30 a.m. The kindergarten will be from 12 to 1 p.m. The first grade, 1:15 to 2:15 p.m. The second grade, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. And then again on August 27th, the elementary school, the 3rd through 5th graders will have their open houses 4 to 6 p.m. And then at the high school, again on August 27th, we'll have the 11th and 12th grade open house from 8 to 10 a.m. And then the next day on August 28th, we'll have the 9th and 10th grade from 8 to 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rollins? Okay, Mr. Hux?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Carter. I'd like to express appreciation to the Kiwanis Club for their continued support and generosity, specifically with the gift certificates that they presented to the teachers. Thanks also to Chief Cliff Bowen and the entire police department for the time and effort put into the drill that they're conducting as we speak tonight. Also, from time to time, I like to thank Mr. Joe Cacciamilio and Dr. Mike Cataldo for all the work that they do off camera that nobody sees to keep these meetings running smoothly. Couldn't do it without you. I'd like to thank Mr. Jim Beach for his efforts tonight with the comfortable climate that we have, much improved over what it was when we walked in. And thank you also, Miss Sophie McDevitt, for being with us. Glad to have you with us, and my compliments on your performance at your first meeting. Thank you, Dr. Carter.
Yes, sir. Ms. Whitaker?
I'd just like to welcome Sophie on board. We look forward to your reports every meeting. It's good to see you here. And to thank everybody for all the work that they've done over the summer. People have been off and enjoying their break, but there have been a lot of people who've still been in the offices working, and to Mr. Pappas and everybody in the schools who've been putting the facilities back together and waxing floors and making everything look as wonderful as it always does. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Sidner?
I'd like to echo a welcome to Sophie and also to thank the Kiwanis as well for, I'm sure it was a very much welcome gift certificate for the teachers. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Milton.
Oh, for all of our new teachers and our new principals, I'd like to say a welcome here. For all of our returning teachers, I'd like to say a welcome back. Also like to thank our Mayor Gene Hunt for his letter concerning the purchase of used buses that he sent to the legislature, and hopefully that'll work into something that will be positive for our school, particularly in times of budget concerns. And I'm also looking forward to the Special Education Advisory Committee meetings this year. So hopefully parents will get that information and turn out and get some good information. So thank you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cast?
Thank you, Dr. Carter. I was in a meeting today with a group of auditors, and they started talking about local school systems. And the first thing that came out of everybody's mouth was that the city of Poquoson has the best schools in Virginia. So I was proud sitting there. I don't think they knew my association with the schools, but it was very nice to hear that. And welcome, Sophie. I'd be a heel if I didn't say it after everybody else did. Really appreciate you being here. And I would like to publicly, again, thank our city council. We would not even be talking about a budget as we did tonight without their support. And they've done yeoman's work for us. And as a result, the citizens have done great work for us because they support our city council and the decisions that we're making. So thank you to everyone. Look forward to convocation on Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Cast. I'd like to echo the thanks to City Council and to everybody out there who's worked hard over the summer. And I know that the rearranging of everything just kind of seems like it runs right up to sometimes the last minute, but it always works out. It's always phenomenal, and I think that's a testament to what we do, and I just think our teachers do a great job. I had the opportunity to go to the elementary school Monday, the first day new teachers were to report, and I was able to meet with all of them and speak with most of them individually, and not one had, most were almost done setting up their classrooms, but Monday was the first day to report. So Monday morning at 8:30, they had already been coming to the schools and working to get prepared for the return of students, and that's just a type of dedication that we look for in our teachers and that we appreciate so much. I also saw Mr. Pappas, the outdoor classroom, and he kind of explained that to me, and it looks like a nice structure, and I'm anxious to hear some feedback, Dr. Colley, on how that is being used over at the elementary school. I think it's a great opportunity. Next up, any material for board review?
Not this evening.
And with that, we will adjourn to the work session. And on the agenda for the work session, instructional data review, crisis management plan annual update, bring your own device initiative, and school board discretionary funds. Thank you.